Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wintertime Lava Isthmus, a fun little mini-game, if you will, a supreme take on a beloved map, a lava-filled wasteland that apparently is still full of snow. Kind of an interesting situation, right? The Wintertime Supreme Isthmus filled with lava kind of clashes a little bit, doesn't it? But apparently today, a very quick game on Lava Isthmus, so I figured I'd give it a feature here. It looks like we also have Legion enabled, which is always a treat, so we're going to be able to see some cool units. And it was brought to my attention, actually, that some folks might not have known how to enable Legion. That's actually under Advanced Settings. I believe it's under Extra Options or Experimental Options. There's one that just says Legion Faction, and you can take that on if you want to check them out. Cool faction. I'd definitely vouch for them. Definitely take a look over there, and take a look in the description section, where all the Discords and links and stuff like that will be as well. Let's get into the game. Spawning right here on the what is normally a water side, but is instead sort of a tech role on the Lava Isthmus, a red commander that goes by the name of the Angry Biker. Now, whether it's a Harley David or just like a, a pedal bike, I'm not entirely sure, but the Angry Biker here going to be going for an Armada bot lab, interestingly enough. I think it makes sense. Those bots are pretty cheap, so it's easy to get them out on the field, get them building all this stuff nice and quickly. What really sparked my intrigue for this map today, for this match in particular, is that it was only 15 or so minutes long. Yeah, usually these Supreme Isthmus lava matches tend to go on for quite a long time. They're definitely a long haul through all the way to T3 and bombing runs and all that sort of stuff. Apparently this one ended up being pretty quick, so I'm seriously curious to see what goes down. Came up with that one on the spot. Thank you very much. Professional commentator caster spawning on the backline here, the air position for the blue team. It's Sukail, the blue commander here, apparently representing the Neef clan. Gonna be playing some good old-fashioned Armada Air. One of the things about... Well, let me turn this on really quickly. There we go. We can see everybody's open skill right there. One of the things about playing Lava Isthmus is that you have to be very aggressive on the front lines. As you can see, a couple of Alaris already making their way through, getting kind of caught up in the trees right here, but making their way through into the back line. Now going to fire on the metal extractor of the Cyan Commander. The LLT here, though, ooh, just barely managing to kill the Alaris. Nicely done. Alaris, one of the Legion vehicles, they're sort of one of the Legion light tanks. Legion has a lot of interesting shenanigans up their sleeve, and one of the which is that they have quite a few different vehicles that fill more specific roles. So what I mean by that is that they have one tank called the Helios, and in fact, we'll go take a look at these right now. Whoa, there's a mountain range. There it is. One of the options they have available is the Helios. The other is the Alaris. You can see the Alaris clocking in at 65 metal. Only 425 HP, quite thin in the armor plating department. The Helios at 160 with 890 HP, also a very light tank, but the Helios does a tremendous burst of damage. They're kind of a weird situation because basically neither of these tanks is very tanky. The actual unit with a bunch of HP is the Decurion. It's an armored assault tank. It has a big minigun on top of it, so it fires just a rapid barrage of bullets, but it doesn't really do very much damage. So it's an interesting situation with Legion tanks because typically you want a line of Decurion as HP, and then you want a line of Helios as a whole bunch of damage potential. Worth mentioning here that we also have the Barrage, which is a napalm artillery, fires a big splash of napalm out onto the battlefield. Very difficult to deal with, especially if you have lighter units like Ticks or Pawns or Grunts or... I said Ticks already? Yeah, Ticks, Pawns, Grunts, Rovers, Rascals. All the lighter scout units are really, really difficult to play against that napalm with. We also have the Lance, which is a long-range skirmisher, and it's also your anti-air option. It's a relatively thin anti-air option because, of course, it fires is it a photon lance? I don't actually know what kind of lance it is. It might just be a projectile accelerator, rail cannon sort of situation. Either way, though, it does one big burst of damage and then goes on a quite long cooldown, somewhat like a sharpshooter you could compare it to. Spooder Friend, the purple commander, hanging out here on the front line, just going ahead and building a beamer turret, using that commander's build power, and of course the extended HP as well to try and guard the comm. But you can see these Alaris melt pretty quickly to the beamer right here. Nicely done by the purple commander, and this beamer will be the fortification necessary to hold this front line. Very, very cool to see. AMA 2017 treading the line right here. Oh my goodness, just that quick 2-second burst right there whittled down the commander's HP by 5%. Ridiculous the power that those beamer turrets have. They're very, very good at shutting down basically any aggression on the front line. They outrange Rocketeers as well, which means that these Rocketeers would have to be microed very carefully if they actually wanted to contest against this beamer turret. The beamer also has quite a bit of HP, clubbing out at 1,590. It takes quite a while before you can actually burst one of these down, so it's very, very difficult to deal with here. Lovely stuff to see, because one of these on the front line can oftentimes be more efficient than going for, say, a bunch of units. At least early on into the game, when these units are relatively thin. Yeah, need a couple of ticks to clean this up, but nice reaction right here by the air player OP Man. actually managing to shut all this down really, really nicely. Shuriken are so powerful. Looks like we've got an Aeolus air transport, the Legion air transport, and my goodness, what a cool transport it is. Looks like it's stuck on the hill right here, huh? That's an interesting little bug feature thing. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. Game completely crashed out on me. Happens to the very best of us, I suppose. The Aeolus air transport right here. Oh, yeah, no, it really doesn't want to... The game actually doesn't want to exit it to the cinema cam. Alright, well, I guess we'll just ignore that. Anyways, yeah, some definite bugs happening right here. We'll go ahead and press on as dutifully as we can here. It looks like the beamer turret has been blasted apart right now by the Rocketeers and the Olaris moving forward right here, upsetting the static defense line that Spooderfriend had built up for a second there, and also knocking down this metal extractor. 4.3 metal per second, definitely a hit to the economy right now for the Purple Commander, who is an Armada Commander, so can go for those cheap wind turbines in order to scale their economy, but obviously that takes a lot of constructors and a lot of plotting in order to do properly. It can be very difficult to time out as well. There's a lot of circumstance that has to go right before that can be achieved. Couple of fighter planes here. The beautiful looking little Legion fighter planes. Swarming around all over the place. They kind of remind me of the Star Wars Jedi starfighters. That's kind of what they remind me with their little kind of arced wings and yeah. Yeah, look at those little things. Adorable. Now, I cannot help but notice a cheeky plane has managed to make its way across the map here. A radar tower has already been built, so that's covering any of this from any sort of radar detection, and it looks like a laboratory has been set up here as well. What on earth are we going to go for? Looks like the answer is going to be grunts. Ah, I love the inclusion of the Grave Robber here, too. So this is a commander, OP man, apparently. A commander well worth plotting the demise of the enemy here nicely. The grunts are great and everything. They do a bunch of damage, they can swarm this base, all that is well and good, but of course, ideally, you want to eat up all that metal and actually send it back to your laboratory. And that's exactly what that Grave Robber is for. So I'm actually thrilled to see that we're including any of that. Those Grave Robbers, going to be really important to actually eat up all that metal and do the real damage. Because otherwise all this can be resurrected. That can be a comeback opportunity. Plus, of course, it's a huge sum of resources you're putting out on the field. Now, worth noting here that OP Man has also produced some units. So not shying away from supporting the front line, but also going for a very cheeky play in the back line here. We've got grunts coming up one at a time here, being built by this sneaky little construction turret. Wouldn't even mind seeing another construction turret here, too. I don't know if there's any room for one. You might be able to squeeze one out somewhere around here. Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of room where you can put one down. Building a construction turret. Yeah, there we go. In fact, OP Man putting down the construction turret just now as the lab finishes eating up. Oh, it's a cheeky play, and I'm beginning to see how this match might have ended so quickly. Here's those Helios tanks, by the way, firing away their little heat ray beams. Very cool indeed. Yep, there it is. One of the interesting things about the Helios tank is that when it's firing its beam, it has to lock its firing apparatus, the aiming apparatus that it uses to point that beam at whatever target it is. And because it has to lock that apparatus, it means that it can't actually adjust the targeting while it's firing, unlike the heavier cousin of the Helios there. I believe it's called the... Oh gosh, what is it called? It's a T2 tank, it's a T2 heavy tank, and it fires basically a big, more concentrated heat blast, and it fires two of them actually. And it does a much better job of aiming while firing, means it's much better at dealing with big swarms of units. The Helios, however, it benefits greatly from remaining still, so it actually has the opposite effect of some units, where it actually becomes worse with micro, as opposed to becoming better, more valuable. Here we go. Uh-oh. Grave Robber up in the hillside has noticed something awry up here. Oh, did we see it? Yep, indeed. Tank Commander gets the first look of what might actually have happened, and it does mean that it's time to pull the trigger. The Green Commander now moving forward, rushing these grunts forward. Oh no. The grunts swarming the base right now of the Tank Commander Dejarshi, who is now beset upon by a whole army of grunts. Beautiful play right there. Targeting down the tech player, an obvious advantage right now. The Resbot is available. We need to start reclaiming immediately. As soon as you start reclaiming, of course, you can obviously continue producing here, right? So, using that Resbot to eat up the wreckage. Yep, there we go. And going to be feasting on all of the corpse right here from the Tank Commander. Gonna blast down the metal extractor. Gonna blast down the T2 laboratory. Gonna close out this game. What an awesome play. Trasher now firing away at the airplanes here as well. The Trasher is a great inclusion, obviously, for dealing with Shuriken that might be pulled to try and deal with this, but also awesome for shooting down these planes while we're here. And there we go. Grave Robber easily reclaiming thousands of metal right there. Will be shot down by the commander, but at the end of the day manages to reclaim more than enough metal to actually continue producing in the backline right here. What a hilarious, hilarious play. Yep. One of the reasons why it's so important to station a unit or a scout plane or just anything up in the hillside is that you're aware of what's going on, because now the units are headed towards the Maroon base. Border Bridge, the Maroon commander has managed to deflect some of this attack, but it only meant that they deflected it towards their own base. We have a static defense turret come up right here, but it isn't being supported by the build turrets. Finally built right now, but far, far too late. The Grunts now jumping on top of the Maroon base as well. The energy infrastructure goes down, and just like that, the entire Maroon base, the air player for the red team, knocked out of commission. The red player resigning already after seeing this play. Recognizing an omen of ill kind. Oh my goodness. What a hilarious play. Do something about it, cries out the hot pink commander. The Maroon commander finally headed over in this direction, will manage to get up on top of the hillside and should be able to degun down this laboratory after carefully thinking about it. There we go. Deguns down the laboratory and blast apart anything else up on this hill. Wonderfully done right here by the green commander, scuttling the remainder of these forces and just feeling a definitely a sigh of relief knowing that now 2 bases are done. And oh yeah, the Emma 2017, the hot pink commander, already complaining into chat right here after eating up the red player's economy here and just continuing to use it to scale and produce on the front line. You can see loads and loads of those good old-fashioned barrages have been set up. But suddenly this game has been left in a very dire way. 3 gauntlets on the front for Spooderfriend, by the way. My goodness. 1 gauntlet on its own is annoying at best. 3 gauntlets can start to become a little bit somewhat of a difficulty to deal with. As you can see, firing off into the distance and doing a decent AoE of damage against these T1 units. I'm going to be more than happy to scuff up all of those barrages. As good as the barrages are, they obviously can't outrange those long-range area control plasma artilleries. Now those gauntlets are going to fire away with ruthless efficiency. Alright. It is a 3,000 or so, yeah, nearly 4,000 metal investment onto the front line, but I suppose if you can get some value out of it, and indeed these gauntlets have, you may as well go ahead and build them. Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity here. Don't get me wrong, losing the entire backline sucks, but this is definitely, you know, the cherry on top is losing the front line here as well. It looks like a resign vote is called by the orange commander. So the interesting thing is, because the red player left, no doubt frustrated with the way that this match has ended up going, it means that suddenly the entire T2 backline economy has been pumped into T1 units. It means that this army right here of T1 units is gigantic. This is a whopping, just get a rough head count here, roughly 6,000 metal army right here available for the hot pink commander. Should be significantly more than enough to break through all these defenses. The gauntlets are harsh if you stand within their firing range, but they can't really do much outside of that, and as long as you rush past them, don't give them time to find value, there really isn't any reason why this there isn't really any reason why this army couldn't move forward right here and do tremendous work. This is an absolute morale victory, yeah. We're looking at exactly what it looks like when you're ready to give up before the game is actually even won. You can see the metal advantage and energy advantage is significant, but it's certainly not over. Here we go. Helios are, oh, they're fight commanded for it. Oof. The problem with the fight command is it means they stop in their tracks. There we go. Looks like the purple commander goes down, taking down well beyond the commander's metal cost and value here, blowing apart those units. The barrage is also firing away, coating the ground in napalm, but yeah, that army lost too much in the explosion from that commander trying to take it down, and was fight commanded forward too, so ended up standing in a lot of the napalm that the barrages were flinging out. And with the loss of that army, I would say so too are the hopes and dreams of the red team winning this front line here any further. Our other player on the right-hand side, Revirus, going to be finishing up a fusion reactor and hopefully starting up some production here. The resign vote is called once more. All those dead units. We take a look right now. 4,802, 4,820 metal worth of army value lost on the front line, and the red team loses the battle on a morale victory. Wow. An OP play from the OP man himself, managing to take down the entire red team just by causing them dismay and ruining their hopes and dreams. Not even was really their gigantic economic difference, but it was enough of a hit to apparently discourage them from playing the game any further. And sometimes that is all it takes. It's one of those resources that's hard to track and hard to manage, but the team morale is definitely a real and important factor beyond all reason. thanks a ton for watching this wacky little Lava Straits game. I know it's a bit different from what we usually do, but I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the very next cast of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody, and have a lovely rest of your day.